that's the way I felt once the smoke cleared. Ever saw your world crumble, couldn't shed it.
What's good, people? This is your guy, Deme D, Mr. Everywhere, You Never There. This is another collaboration with HLM Media, DagogetaTv. And this is another interview on the rise, what we like to do, where we bring you dope artists, creatives, and everything on top of that. And I'm with somebody you see me with before, Mc Justo. What's good,
sir.
my guy?
It's good, my man.
Good to get some work out again.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me, bro.
So you came on my show on the DagogetaTv. Who's next up? Body the Cypher. We had a dope interview. But I just want to follow up with you right now. So I want to start with what I like to start with all the time. Let them know where you're from.
Yep. Brooklyn, New York, Eastern New York. You already know. Born and raised Eastern New York, baby.
Okay, and your name. I know we spoke about that on the last show, but anyone just tuning in, I definitely I love the fact that you have MC in it.
Yeah.
So when you put MC in your name, you already know that it comes with expectations.
Right.
So were you prepared for that when you threw that in there?
Originally.
Being from Brooklyn too.
Yeah, no doubt. Originally, I didn't have, it was just Justo. Originally, it was just Justo, and I came up with that name because a homeboy of mine, when I was rapping, he found out my my middle name is Justin. Okay. And for whatever reason, he thought that was like hilarious. He was like, oh, and he started calling me Justo. He was like, oh, Justo. And around that time, I had started rapping, and I didn't have a name yet. Okay. So for whatever reason, I was like, yo, that kind of clicked. I was like, I'm gonna use that. So next time I go to rap, I'm gonna say my name is Justo. So that's where I got the origin of Justo. Okay. Right? Now I didn't know that there's a DJ in Brooklyn, from Eastern New York, named Justo, like I told you last time. And so I had no idea. I remember hearing about the Justo mixtapes and all that too, but for whatever reason, it never clicked. And so when I started working with DJ Premier, my manager, my ex-manager, DJ Vic Black, he's down with the Gangstar Foundation, like I told you before. Okay. And DJ Premier, obviously, Gangstar, him and Guru. And at the time when I met Premier, he was like, yo, your name's Justo, but there's a DJ named Justo. So he was like, you should really put that MC on there. Like, you should put something to make sure, like, you're the MC. So you're paying respect, but at the same time, he was like, you don't need to change your name, but you should put something on it to make the difference.
Differentiate.
You know what I mean? So it's not like people don't get it twisted to be like, oh, you trying to like copy Justo or whatever. And because his name is actually Just O. That's how it's not. It's not Justo. I'm all one word, Justo. His is actually like Just O.
It's Just O.
You feel what I'm saying?
They end up saying it like.
Yeah, they just say it all like one. But even still, he was like, you should differentiate that. So that's how I got the MC on my name. So it wasn't something like I had like planned out when I first put. It was just Justo.
But that sounds like even more pressure.
Yeah, but when the OG tell me, you know what I mean? Like the OG tell you. You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
So with the Premier though, that's a great story.
Yeah. So my time with Premier just basically started because like I said, my cousin Vic Black, he was my ex-manager, but he was also my cousin. He's my cousin on my father's side, and he found that I was rapping, just talking with people in the neighborhood. And he was like, yo, let me hear some stuff. So I played him some stuff I was working on at the time. I was working with a guy named Itani Ravis, who was working through Jam Master Jay's studio. Okay. So at that time, it was it was after Jam Master Jay passed away. So it was when it was called Hall of Fame Studios, right over there on Merrick Boulevard. I was in Queens working with him, and we shout out to Queens. Definitely shout out to Merrick Boulevard. I had a lot of work over there. Guy Brewer, shout out to Guy Brewer. I used to stay over there, Rochdale, all that. So I was at that studio. We was doing a couple projects or whatever, and so that was the music I had. We did a couple like mixtapes and rapping over other people's beats and all that. And so I played some stuff.
This is starting out, or
this was like I was probably I started when I was like 16. I was about 20 at this time, like between 18 and 20. All right. So I was doing it, but it wasn't on that level yet. But I was getting comfortable. I was starting to like really fill out my flow and fill out my style. And so I played him some of the stuff I was doing with Eton, and he was like, yo, you ready, bro? Nice. You ready? The crazy thing was, he had heard me maybe a year before that, and he was like, oh, he need to work on a couple things.
Isn't that a good feeling?
Right? And so, but at first, I was like, man, old dude, he don't know what he's talking about, you know what I mean? No disrespect to Vic, but at the time, that's what I felt. I was like, yo, he don't know what he's talking about, you know what I'm saying? But he came back around that next year, and he heard it, he was like, He was blown away. So yeah, it did make me feel good because it was like,
good feeling.
Yeah.
Even how you felt that
because I still was like, yo, I'm doing what I'm gonna do. I'm still, you know, and that's that blind confidence when you're young. You know, I think if I was older, I would have probably like took heed and been like, all right, let me like. But I was like, whatever, bro. I'm gonna still, you know, do me.
I got this.
But it worked out because I still had that hunger.
Right.
But he heard it that second time. He came back around and I was rapping on like a couple of Biggie beats and all of this, and he was just like,
that's dope.
Oh, he was like, yeah, you ready? So from there, I got linked up with him, and he kind of put me under the Gangstar umbrella for a couple years. So
well, so then, not that you were saying it was, but just for people watching and maybe younger people, inspiring people, there was no malice in it.
Yeah.
He was really being genuine.
Sure. Yeah.
Once he saw that, he was like, okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Come with me.
Exactly, and that's exactly how it worked out. That's exactly how it worked out.
People gotta understand, some people is just haters, I know, but everybody's not a hater.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Especially, and you gotta think, if it's someone who's been a part of the industry, like he's with Gangstar, like he's, you know, even though he's not a rapper or whatever, but he understands music. You know, matter of fact, my cousin was one of the people who helped put the group that made the beat Poison. Okay. You know the beat Poison?
Yeah.
For Belle Biv DeVoe?
Yeah.
So Spider-Man and Freeze, they're from my neighborhood. They're from East New York. And DJ Vic Black actually helped them, gave them the equipment, gave them the studio time and stuff to help put their stuff together. And they ended up making that beat, which ended up being used for Belle Biv DeVoe. And then, matter of fact, Spidey's still in East New York to this day. Shout out to Spidey. So yeah. So he was already doing stuff. He's in the industry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta respect that. It doesn't mean that they have the end all be all, but you gotta respect what they've been around.
Yeah.
You know, the knowledge they done soaked up.
Yeah.
But what I do want to ask, who are some of the people that you enjoy listening to? Because I don't think we had ever chance to. Because we talk online, we chop it up. I don't think I ever got to pick your brain on that. Who's some of your favorite MCs and shit?
Like growing up or like recent? Or
whoever
like now?
you'd like to mention.
Like growing up. It's crazy because growing up, I wasn't even like a big hip hop head that.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I didn't even listen to hip hop like that until I got maybe like 9, 10 years old, and I was listening to it kind of like, you know, vicariously.
Casually.
When you that young, it's not like you popping the songs you know, so you hear your family or whatever. And DMX was one of the first artists that popped out to me. A family friend used to play some of his album, and then it was X, and that was like what 2000. And he was bumping it. We was in the whip, he was bumping it, and I was like, the fuck? Like, you know, 10 years old, that album is crazy.
It's a lot of energy.
You know what I mean? Marshall Mathers LP was another joint he used to play a lot.
Yeah.
My older cousins used to play them joints and stuff. So you be around, you know, I used to be around it, and I think around that time I was starting to really like understand, like being from the projects, being in those neighborhoods, you know, being in the neighborhood where you see a lot of shit, but you don't really know how to interpret it.
Right.
And then now you finally get to hear me, because, you know, when you listening to, you know, Marvin Gaye or you know, Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, my parents was playing soul music and stuff. You don't get that same kind of, it kind of blanks out all the stuff that's happening in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
They're not reflective of that.
But when you hear the shit that's actually like the representation of what you see outside, it just changes everything for you. So that was like a moment for me, like hearing DMX, you know, hearing Jay-Z, hearing Nas, hearing Biggie, you know what I mean, hearing MOP, like all that just like started changing my perception, you know, of music and of my environment, you know what I'm saying? So those were like a lot of the artists I grew up listening to once I started getting into the hip hop mode. And in my high school years, which was like the early 2000s, so 50, you know, Game, you know, all the G Unit, Dipset, you know, that New York, that last, I call that the last string of like,
that is.
When New York hip hop, like that G Unit,
when you had
know,
a bunch of people too.
Murder Inc.,
yeah, you had a bunch
Dipset,
of people.
and then it just like after that, the Locks was still rocking, and then the South, you know, from 2006, 7 on, the South kind of like...
Yeah, it was no more bunch of us. It was like an artist here,
and then New York kind of like... So that last like run of New York artists, like I was really on that. But then that was when Wayne was coming up. So Wayne was in there a little bit. Jeezy, T.I., Ludacris. So it was mixed up. And then I went to... Kanye, of course, Kanye was big. And then I went to Clark Atlanta for a year. So I was, you know, then that changed my ability to be able to make hooks, Because when you're around that, when you're around the South and you hear those hooks and you hear the way they do it, it's different than New York.
They make chant hooks.
They do, and so I learned a lot though from that. So if you notice, even with my music, even though it's straight hip hop, it's a lot of New York influence. Like I try to still make my hooks as catchy and commercial, even if the track is super like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just because it catches your attention. So that's something I learned being down south, you know what I mean?
It is what it is.
It is what it is, straight up.
Because there's a song I heard yesterday, an artist let me hear, and I already memorized the hook.
Yeah.
Granted, it played 1,000 times yesterday, but
yeah.
I caught a few lyrics, but I would probably have to sit down with it to really catch the ball.
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. I was in the South, right? We was in one of those college clubs or whatever. There was a song. To this day, I remember it. I don't know who the artist was. Dude was like, "What's up with your pussy? What's up with your?" I was like, "What is that?" I was like, "What is that?" But to this day, it's still stuck in my head because I just couldn't believe it. I was like, "Yo, how y'all got a track? How's it a track like this playing in the club?"
And everybody chilling.
Don't act like that, girl, like you don't want to give it to. I was like, "What is this?" But it's still stuck in your head. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, even though I was disgusted by it, I was like, "Yo, this is wild. Like, what kind of track?" I was like, "Yo, if something like that could get stuck in my head, it's the way he's chanting it. It's the way he's putting it out there.
It's the melody.
It's the melody. It's the, so even though it was outlandish, it was like, yo, I took, you take all of, as an artist, you gotta be able to take from, you gotta be focused. You gotta really have your feelings out.
Like that.
Exactly.
You could.
Absolutely not exactly like that. But to understand,
why is it
connected to everyone like that? Why is everyone being like, so just little stuff like that,
Unfortunately, I don't know if it's fortunate, if it's bad, I don't know how to phrase it, but sometimes you have to think like a suit. That's the problem that artists have and creators have.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it is a good idea maybe to hire a suit.
Yeah.
Have them around you so you don't gotta think like one, but it has to be a suit involved.
Yeah.
If you do just everything based on how you feel and what you prefer,
artist,
it's, you know what I mean, you're gonna miss a lot of shit that could really help you or just help you advance.
You just gotta have that business savvy. You gotta understand that it's part of the game.
Everything is not about being what's the word, critically acclaimed. As far as much as that's great, you still gotta give them that candy, that cookies. Man.
Yeah, you gotta reel them in some way somehow. So. But with this day and age too, there's a lane for everybody.
There's a lane.
You know what I'm saying?
I think even with the lane that likes that, you still have to make it digestible.
Yeah, for sure.
It's still because there's some people that I think they just go straight to cult only.
Yeah.
Meaning like you're only gonna have like a cult following.
Yeah.
As opposed, I think everything has, like you said, it has its lane, but I just think certain things is like, okay, that's like a niche.
And I actually like their music, but Griselda.
Right.
Griselda reminds me, they have that like cult following where like they could literally do the same kind of track every time. Not saying they do that, but when you hear them, it does have a very similar sound to it.
Tempo, but if you notice, they've been branching out, they've been switching.
They've been trying.
They know
but that's their artistic side. Because if most artists, especially the artists that get on that's like just in it for the money, they just gonna do whatever's gonna do the trend. You know what I'm saying? That's their artistic side.
That's the artistic, and they understand that like it's gonna stay a cult unless you appease to some other ears. It doesn't necessarily have to be top 40 shit. That's what a lot of people miss. But there's a line between junkies and casual listeners. There's a line. A lot of dudes that like bars still don't maybe want to go that.
It's true.
So it's tricky. It's tricky. That's why I say you gotta pay attention, have a suit, just be aware.
Yeah. But I like that though, have a suit.
Yeah, you just got, cause even myself, I struggle with that, cause sometimes I'm like, damn, yo, I feel like I'm a fucking suit.
Yeah.
Cause you're thinking about, okay, how does this play out, strategy and all this shit. When I'd rather just be like, yo, this looks dope. It came out ill. It's, you know what I mean? But I want to get into your music though. You dropped a couple of projects.
Yeah, last year for sure.
So let's talk about the one you dropped last year.
So I dropped 2 last year. The one when we linked up, I had dropped Nocturnal around that time, so that was April 1st, I believe I dropped that.
Project, dope cover.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, and I gave you the vinyl.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Y'all gonna see.
Vinyl was fire.
Yes.
Yeah. So my man Remy Lack, who actually also owns the label that dropped it, he's from the UK. And we linked up through the internet like years ago. We had this project for a minute. and we just finally dropped it last year in April, and we got a lot of love. We still getting love for it. And so we dropped that one, and then in September, I dropped the album 3 with my man Meticulous. It's called 3 because it's our 3rd album. We did 2 albums before, Mind of a Man and County of Kings. The 3rd one was real dope because we had a lot of features. We didn't have as many features in the first 2. This one we had.
Yeah, I see you held it down.
Yeah. So we had Rock Ness Monster from Helter Skelter.
Yes.
We had Beatty from PA. He came up with Mac Miller.
Okay.
We had my man Ill Conscious.
Salute to Ill Conscious.
Yo,
I'm just
from
getting more familiar with him.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah,
He's sick, bro. And so I actually met him, me and Meticulous met him. We did a interview at Sirius Satellite with DJ Eclipse.
Salute to Eclipse too.
Yo, yes sir, that's my guy. He's another one who I knew from my time being with Premier. There was a lot of people I met during my time being with Premier, bro.
Real, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
want to talk about that too.
Yeah, man. So, so Eclipse, we was at Eclipse show and we did a little freestyle, and Ill Conscious was actually there the same day. So we both got to do a little freestyle at the same time. Definitely was feeling each other's styles. He has a very like eclectic, like really cool style. Really like old school hip hop, double times and all of that.
Yeah.
Like I love it. So we decided to put him on the album. Audible Doctor's on the album. We got a dude named Alex Rands who does like, he has a guitar like solo in the album. So yeah, we did a lot of like real cool, like, you know, different stuff, and then tried to incorporate more artists with it. So the album is called 3. It dropped in September. It's still out right now. You can find it on all your platforms.
Okay, that was a later one. Okay, that's
that was the one in September. Yup.
Okay,
so I dropped one in April, and then I dropped one in September.
Yeah, I know. I see. I didn't tap in with.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you.
Did say, okay,
I sent it to you.
Yeah, I did.
But I know you. I know you get it when you.
Yeah.
I know you get to it when you get to it. But yeah, we dropped. Yeah, I definitely sent it because I was like,
yeah,
I gotta.
Yeah.
I know. I did my due diligence. I'm like, I gotta hit. Hit me with that. So yeah. So So we dropped that in September, and I just dropped a single. Like a couple days ago, called Autopilot, with a Danish producer by the name of Action.
Oh, so you really be branching out?
Yeah, for sure, bro, for sure. But I met him through Remulac. Okay. So the same dude from the UK that I was working with that did Nocturnal with, and we did it under his label. It's just a single, but we did it under his label. So you know, trying to get some Spotify playlists on there, and it has more of a jazzy, like lo-fi kind of sound to it. I'm kind of branching into that sound a little bit and messing around with that because I really love that sound, to be perfectly honest. So you know, and I don't know a lot of like MCs that do it like me that's on that kind of sound. All right. You know what I'm saying? Like the way I'm doing it too. I mean, I know guys do it like the lo-fi, but it's more of jazz infused. Yeah. So, you know, I'm gonna have a lot more coming out so you guys can like really like, you know, see what I'm talking about. But it's some dope stuff, man.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Man, like I said, you're definitely an artist. I'm glad I came across. You know, I don't even remember.
Shout out to DK. DK put us together.
Okay, see, look, I can't.
DK put us together. No, well, I know you doing a lot, bro. I got you. DK, you sent him a beat. Well, he sent you a beat package, I think, or you had picked up one of his beats.
He messaged me about the Cypher show.
Yeah,
he was like, yo, I got a dope and I checked it out. Yeah, shit was fire.
And that's how we linked.
There you go.
Yo.
So listen, the
Shout
internet.
Out to DK.
Networking.
Another one of my guys from overseas, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Listen, networking
Not
is
overseas.
important.
He's up top.
I mean, out of the states.
Out of the states.
They know what you meant.
For sure.
But nah, that's some real shit though, man. The networking, a lot of people just overlook that shit. And that's another reason why I do fuck with you. Because I see that you network. Listen, rapping is cool and all. But if you just rapping, like, fam, nah, you gotta shake hands.
Yeah,
you
have
people
to.
familiar with your face. And you gotta get out of your area. And
another thing, you gotta sense where like people are feeling you the most. Like I feel like a lot of artists, they see what kind of artist they wanna be, and they don't focus on anything else. They just say, this is what the artist I wanna be. But it's like, if people feeling you in this lane, then maybe you need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, or you gotta feel it out. You gotta feel what the people are showing you. And for me, I was getting a lot of love overseas. A lot of like the European artists, producers was hitting me up. A lot of producers in Central America. So I'm like, oh, I'ma just start, you know. And at first I was against it because I'm like, I'm a New York rapper.
I know, it's
I need to
tough.
be with New York producers. I need to be with New York. Like I'm only doing New York.
New York.
And I realized New York wasn't messing with artists like me. They just weren't. Like we unfortunately we're not on the lyricist tip as much anymore.
As far
it's
as the
way
forefront,
more about
it's
not
at
the forefront.
Not
Not at the
all.
forefront. And what's the thing is the underground sound that I do is just more love overseas, and they feel it. And I didn't want to change the kind of artist I was just to appeal to my town. You know what I'm saying? When there's people out there who gonna dig me, because it's gonna come full circle anyway. New York is trendy. If the moment Europe put me up on a pedestal, New York.
That's it. Once you
worried
wavy,
about it. So I ain't worried about it. But like that's where it was leading me, and so I was like, you know what? I got to get off my high horse. Let me rock with what's working for me, and you know that's really helped boost my career.
Nah, and that's a fact, because honestly, when I did initially meet you, I don't know. I probably maybe I wasn't following or paying much attention.
Yeah.
But I see you be around, and a lot of people I know you.
Yeah.
Know you through your music.
Yeah,
So you have supporters out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
you
for
have
sure. I
fans, and
appreciate it.
Making the dots connect.
Yeah.
And I was even surprised with one person. I was only surprised because I don't really know their taste as far as I know them. They listen to like R&B.
Okay.
But they was like, yo, and I wanted to fucking screenshot you and be like, yo, this my people. But they
That's
basically
crazy.
was like, yo, MC Justo's the man type shit.
That's crazy.
You did a show somewhere. I don't remember.
I used to be all around.
Yeah, you did a show and it was like a high angle, it was a crazy event. It looked like a crazy event. But
Oh, you talking about? I did it recently.
It's
you talking about the
recent,
one in
last
Queens?
year. I don't remember.
It was in Queens. It was
recently.
yeah.
So you did that shit and they was
Damn, I
like,
forgot the
yo.
joint.
They posted you up. That's why I'm like,
Oh, that's crazy.
they posted you up. It's like, yeah, shout out to the guy. No, shit.
That's crazy.
So you out, and I seen a couple of shots on Twitter. So I'm just saying, just to say that the work is paying off.
Thank you, bro.
You're networking. I love to see it.
Thank you.
Keep supporting the music.
Yes,
We're gonna
sir.
keep rocking out.
Yes, sir.
This is HLM Media, the DagogetaTv collab. I'm your guy, Deme D, Mr. Everywhere. You never there. Brooklyn in the building. Red Hook stand up. Flatbush, Utica. You already know I'm Mr. Everywhere.